I'm very glad to see you all here today. I'm very excited about this mission that's coming up. A couple of things. Before I went off to the Astronaut Corps, I was like him. That's Jim Gleason, who's the project scientist for this platform. But for an earlier version, the EOS Terra, not Terror, Terra, T-E-R-R-A platform, that was launched in '98 from here, from Vandenberg. And that was a large polar orbiting satellite that was monitoring the Earth's, total system: atmosphere, oceans, land, ice, biosphere. NPP hopefully will continue the tradition because Terra and Aqua, the sister platforms, are getting a bit long in the tooth. And we're hoping that they're going to last for 2 or 3 more years, but who knows. So NPP is arriving in the nick of time. Why do we do what we do? Why do we do what we do? I feel like Elvis here. Why do we do what we do? NASA can make a really unique contribution to the whole business of climate science. From your perch up there in orbit, mapping the whole world in one day, which is what NPP will do. It'll provide wall-to-wall imaging of the whole world every day. And such as a really clever trick, when you launch from California, you can map the world while it's sunlit, because you kind of chase the sun around the world. It's really ingenious. And these data are going to be essential for basically understanding climate change, looking at small changes over years and decades, and trying to understand what's going on. So with that, I'm open for questions, or what do we do now? Do we go straight into Jim? Yep. Jim, your turn. No, questions, all right. I thought I was going to get off the hook. Questions. Don't ask me anything really, really hard.
Be sure to wait for a microphone if you've got a question. Questions? So I know that NPP is often described as a risk reduction mission, a preparatory mission, but it's also talked about as a replacement for an aging Terra and Aqua. It's got, which one is it more of as far as NASA is concerned?
I think it's both. It's got 4 new instruments on it, which are meant to be the pioneering sort of marks of instruments that will be used on successive platforms into the future. So I guess the first of anything is risk reduction, right? On the other hand, it would be bad or not good if this didn't work out for us, because it's unlikely that Terra and Aqua will last until the next in the series. So, yeah, these are the first, operational versions of these instruments.
Other questions? How did being an astronaut in space change your view of Earth?
Well, no radical changes, just a few very nice surprises. It's beautiful to actually watch see the world through your own eyes once around every 100 minutes. It's really quite a thrill. One of the things that surprised me, I spent a lot of time studying the atmosphere and modeling, and I thought I knew everything, But I was surprised when I got up there how thin the atmosphere is. It's really, really thin. It's like an onion skin around the world. And all the systems that you see, like hurricanes, they're very flat. They look like basically slicks of oil on a puddle when you see the very, very thin system spread on this very, very thin layer. So that was a kind of surprise for me.
I just wanted to ask, what hurricane did you see? Do you remember?
I can't remember. It was a big typhoon in the Pacific.
Oh, okay.
I could have named it. I don't know. No one else had yet, I think.
Leah, is anybody asking questions online? Take any questions from NASA Tweet Up hashtag? Anyone watching at home? Emily, you have another question?
Sure. I know that Terra and Aqua orbit at different local times of day. NPP is only going to be at 1:30. Is that going to replace the capability of having 2 satellites in orbit? How can NPP replace both of those?
It can't replace both. Terra is a morning satellite, 10:30 I think, and Aqua is afternoon, 1:30, and this is 1 o'clock. 1:30. Okay. So I'm not sure when there will be a series of NASA research satellites scattered around during the daytime. I'm not sure when the next morning satellite is projected.
The main generic satellite that will be the main satellite that'll be picking up from that would be essentially the European MEDOP, which is at 9:30, and they're currently flying AVHRRs, but in the JPSS-1 time frame, the next generation will have a MODIS-like, VIIRS-like imager on the next generation European satellite in the morning.
Gotcha. So this is really filling the Aqua slot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other questions for Astronaut Pierce Sellers?
Please talk closer in the microphone when you ask.
Okay. Could you please explain for us old dummies what the 130 and the 930 thing means? Does that mean it's... I don't understand the timing.
The orbit's designed so that when you're flying around the world, underneath you on the daylight side, that is the time of day as the satellite comes over. And it kind of chases the sun. It's called sun synchronous. It kind of chases the sun around the planet. So approximately, that's the local time of day when you're imaging on the day side. Very clever, I think. It took me quite a while to understand how it works.
Hi, I was just curious, having worked on Terra, what has impressed you about the data that it's brought back to Earth, and what are your feelings knowing that it's aging and going into retirement?
Well, you know, I have feelings in common with Terra, of course. No. I can't afford to retire, though. A couple of things I think that came out of Terra that were really super. One was the MODIS instrument, which is this beautiful instrument that maps the whole world at 250-meter resolution, but every day. And that's been an astounding success for all kinds of science, you know, oceans, land, atmosphere, ice, the lot. It's been a real home run. So the two MODIS instruments, one on Terra, one on Aqua, have done really good service. The other thing is that on Aqua, I'm going to change here a little bit, on Aqua there's a sounder suite that profiles the atmosphere temperature and humidity and stuff like that. And those data have been really very useful for operational weather forecasts. So we've got our money's worth.
Any other questions? Okay, way in the back. Let me get back there.
Having been to space, how do you feel about the commercial space industry and space tourism?
Well, having been to space, I wish I could take everybody with me. So, you know, it's that much fun. So, I wish them well.
Would you go?
Would I go? I don't have the money. So, maybe one day, who knows? Keep saving. I think you should go.
I intend to.
Very good.
Any other questions? All right, okay.
I've got a question from Twitter. What does it sound like to astronauts inside the ISS when astronauts are working outside during a spacewalk?
It sounds like a bunch of rhinos banging around on outside the hull. You know, when they're working on the pressurized segment, you can hear them bang, 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 going all the way down, clattering with all their tools, and bang, bang, bang all the way back. So you generally know where they are. And you hope they're not doing anything foolish with drills or anything.
Question over here.
Hi. I've heard that space smells like something. Do you know what it smells like? And could you describe it?
The Russians talk about this smell of space. When people come back in from a spacewalk, and you pop them out the airlock and they're still in their spacesuit, there's a smell which to me smells like roast pork, maybe bacon. That's awesome. Yeah, and the Russians said, "Oh, zapach kosmosa," which is the smell of space. But, you know, bacon or whatever it is actually just some material boiling off the suit, we think. It goes away after a while.
Bacon and Mountain Dew. Actually, on that note, I want to know more about the food that you have to eat in space.
Right, this is the last one I'm going to do on the astronaut thing. We're going to go back to NPP. That's all right. Food's not bad. The food would be really great if your taste buds worked okay in space, but they don't, you know, because of the gravity shift and stuff. Everything tastes like cardboard. So you know, people take up a lot of Tabasco sauce with them to make things bearable.
Okay,
Back to NPP.
Any other questions on NPP, Earth Science? Oh, here we go.
So I go to Terra and Aqua all the time whenever there's a wildfire near LA, and I'm wondering how NPP will improve on their capability to monitor wildfires.
Well, NPP, the VIRS instrument, has a fire channel, so you should be able to keep track of the fire in your back garden still. I think there'll be a continuing fire product that'll go more or less seamlessly with the one from Terra.
Will its resolution improve on Terra and Aqua's?
About the same. How big is your yard?
I had a question. Piers, the work you did in the field in exotic places like Kansas, Russia, Africa, what were you doing? What were you studying down there?
Well, we started off trying to model interactions between the land surface and the atmosphere to improve our climate models. We found out we weren't doing a very good job. So, go out to the field and measure the stuff. So what we would do is measure the interactions between the surface and the lower atmosphere with all kinds of little instruments on the ground, and then fly aircraft over it to integrate over a large area, and then time it all so that you were doing that when a satellite came over that you were interested in. And the idea was that if we could make it all work, we could use the satellite to spread that information globally. And it really worked. We improved the models and managed to spread all the data globally using the satellites. A lot of fun.
Thank you. Any other questions for Piers? Okay. Well, thank you, Piers.
Thank you.
Give a round of applause.